Diane, I was really pleased with the work that you and Joe did yesterday. The swing on the left is before the session began, and the swing on the right is after several adjustments that you had made. You can certainly see in the setup that you have bumped this hip more to the left and the target, so you have more weight on your left side. Hands are more forward. I like the tilt in your shoulders here. Very good. Here we are on the 3 position. On the left, you were flexing the knee, the left knee here, but you really weren't moving to the left while you were flexing the knee. You weren't really dropping down on that left knee. This leg here was fairly straight. Now you have a nice bracing angle here. And you achieve this mostly by taking the hands more to the inside, letting this right hip release and turn, letting your hands go right by your right pocket. And that coiled and your body better. This is your shoulder line before, and this is your shoulder line after a much better shoulder turn. This is the top of the backswing, the 4 position. Fairly dramatic difference here. On the left, we can see how you've let this left arm bend, and your club gets to here, past parallel. This is because your mind is trying to store up as much power as it can. If there's a certain threshold of power that it wants to accumulate so that it feels ready to fire some club head speed into the golf ball. And because you weren't getting any power from your lower body, you weren't coiling your hips, you weren't using the ground and loading up this leg, your mind could only use your upper body to try to get power. So it was reaching back more and lifting more. But on the right here, because you are adequately and correctly using your lower body, you're turning the hips and loading those larger muscles, you're dropping down and loading up this the quadriceps in your left leg. Your mind knows that it's really stored a lot of power and energy, and therefore it doesn't need to do this other extra stuff. Your shoulder turn is really good here. It's better. You're really getting a good coil there. Here we are in the 5 position. This is the first move in the downswing. Again, you're driving more to the left. The yellow line is on the ball, and you're driving much more to the left. You have a nice angle here. You've started to create an angle in the back leg, but because in the backswing it got so vertical, it's just not going to go very far in the same amount of time. So because you loaded better, you're in a better starting position to push off from the top of the backswing. You're going to be closer to the impact position, the correct impact position in the downswing. You've retained a good shoulder turn here. You haven't started to unwind too early. Here we are in the 6th position. You're making a much more dynamic move to the left, to the target. You're really loading up this left leg. Here your shoulders are almost square to the target, and you're still swinging out more here, which is better. This is a position right between position 6 and impact. And I've drawn a line where the golf ball is, but I think it's fairly important to notice how much better now when your hands, as soon as your hands cross the ball line, the green line, where the club head is. Before the changes you made, your club head is about right there. It's a little bit of a blur. It's almost at the ball, so there's not. So you kind of have that much angle, but it's quite dramatic here. There's your club there. So you've retained this angle in the back of your right hand, and so your hands are going to cross that line. It's going to allow you to have a better downward strike on the ball. You're not going to what we call dump it and hit behind it so much. So by moving more aggressively to the left side, loading up this leg more, you're going to have more power and in the right angle of attack on the ball. You can also see how your entire forearm is in front of that line. Whereas before you were kind of letting this left hip, instead of shifting to the left, you were. It's a special kind of turn. There is some turning of the hips, but it's a special kind of turn. It's that is dominated more by the shift than the turn. So the focus needs to be more on the shift. And let the minimal turn occur naturally. Here you had minimal shift and maximum turn. Here you have minimal turn and maximum shift. Here we are in the impact position, the 7th position. Drawing a line through the center of your left foot, straight up. You're in an excellent position here. Arms extended. You're bumping that hip beyond the left foot. Average pro has 85% of their weight on their front foot, and certainly you are there. Here you're backing your hips up a little bit. You're doing that spin, and the other thing I'm noticing is that we've widened your stance here, which allows and supports this more aggressive move to the left. Here you look a little bit more narrow. Here you look a little bit wider, so it allows a better stabilization support for this move. So that's an important thing to continue in your setup, is to make sure you have the proper width of your stance. Really like this position. Good extension in both arms. The right arm extension is occurring naturally here. You're not really thinking about making sure that your right arm is extended because of the better support with your lower body. By using your lower body more, and you get the proper sequencing of shift and turn here, that allows the right arm to just continue to be extended all the way through, because now you're swinging out because you've positioned your body to swing out. Here the body didn't get in a position to swing out, and so it was difficult to keep that right arm straight through impact. Fairly dramatic difference in how this leg is positioned. Again, you have shifted more. There's more of a slide, a bump of the hips. There is certainly, your right hip is now around a little bit more than it was at the top of the backswing. So there was some turning of it, but it was not the driving force of the forward motion. The weight shift to the left was the driving force, and it pulled the right hip around a certain amount. But the emphasis needs to be on the shift, and let the turn be more subconscious. The The other thing that's noticeable here is the angle in your spine here, in that you've really thrust and the pushing this belt buckle more forward, creating a better tilt in your spine. That's what helps move this hip up more. As obviously the right hip has to move up. If the belt buckle goes more left, then the right hip's got to go more left. The drill we did with the handle next to your ear when you swung, where you had it forced you to keep your head back and hit and let your lower body, the center, your belt buckle push forward more. That drill helped you achieve this more often. I think one of the things that helped a lot in yesterday's session was, do I try to achieve this move by thinking right hip, right knee, left hip? You've now kind of found out a thought that helps you the best, and it's more on the left side than the right side. Instead of focusing on what to do with the right side in the downswing, you've got to really feel this lateral bump of the left hip, and make sure that's your emphasis, because that seems to get you in the better position the easiest. It seems to connect better with you. Here we are in the 9th position, and you have, again, you really have a good extension here. You're solid on this left leg. You've extended the leg on both videos. Both swings have an extended leg, but the key is that you are on top of your left leg here. You've moved over on top of this left foot, and here you're kind of hanging back a little bit. So this is a good image to plan in your mind. Now this is the end of the follow-through, but it's important to understand that you're in a drill mode. The positions of the golf swing have to be learned in their pieces, and these drills are designed to exaggerate the feeling in order to learn the proper move. And there has to be a lot of repetitions in the drills, and in remembering the sensation that the drill creates. Your final swing, when it's really put together completely, will not have this finish. It'll have a more traditional finish. But right now, if you tried to have that traditional finish, you wouldn't be doing the work you need to be doing in order to have the proper core of the swing, the before and after impact, being in the right position there. So there's nothing wrong with hitting balls with this finish in order to learn the proper positions before impact and at impact. I think as you work on your swing, there are a couple of key images you need to kind of burn in your mind. This is the 4th position. This is the top of the backswing. I think that's an image you really need to burn in your mind and work on. The drills you did with Joe early on, where you just swung it back to this position. And you got there by focusing on turning that right hip and releasing that hip. By turning that hip, that allowed you to shift more properly to that left side. The second image that you need to burn in your mind and do drills to burn the sensation of this form is the 6th position. The image of the drill where you focused on moving to the left and then pulling those arms down, but hold this angle here. Hold that angle that you had at the top of the swing, and not let that angle cast out. So it's you want to retain that angle in your wrist as you pull down. Now when you and Joe were doing this drill, you were not just pulling, you were simultaneously also moving and bumping that left hip toward the target. So you weren't static with your lower body and just pulling with the arms. You did both. You kicked your belt buckle underneath more, bumping the left hip more, and that actually begins the hands to come down. That drops the hands. And then you just continue that with a pull. But so it's not solely a pull, because then that would end up having a static leg action. It is a bump and pull. So you want to focus first on moving your pelvis forward, and that starts the pull down. And then your hands just want to hold that angle and don't let the wrist unhinge. When the sixth position is perfect, your forearm will be right in front of the right thigh at right angles to the shaft. So you can do those slow back and forth drills, just shaping drills. You don't need to swing at the ball. You need to do some drills where you just take it to the top, pause, pull down to the sixth position. So you take it to the four position, feel the fourth position, and then come down to this proper sixth position. And just repeat those over and over. Then you can add some little half swing hitting shots, 50% effort shots, where you're moving now through a proper sixth position. This is the eighth position, and the sensation you want to really feel is this: your tailbone, your pelvic, your belt buckle, everything is really pushing forward here. So you get this nice arch here that gets you your nice extension. That gives you an extended leg, but you're on top of your left foot. You're not hanging back. So you really want to try to focus on your core coming forward through there, keeping your head back. So that's another image that you need to burn in your mind, is right there. To do all of these with the T's under your arms.